O'clock, and we will go ahead and call this court to order here, which is item number 1. We do have a quorum today, so we can begin with an opening prayer from Brother Hollis Parsons. If you would, pray for guidance for us today, please.
Before we have that prayer, we got a birthday boy in here, Johnny Leftwich.
Oh, yeah?
He's in his last year of his 80s,
Oh, yeah?
so you have to figure that out.
Yeah.
And his wife,
I
same
thought he was
day,
in his 50s.
same age and same day. Anyway, I love Johnny Leftwich, so give him a happy. I was going to have you sing, but you didn't look like you were very good, and so just wish him a happy birthday later on. Father, thank you again for this day. Thank you for your love, your mercy, your grace upon us. Thank you for this commissioner's court, and Lord, they've had a trying month this month, but I think they've done the best job that they know how to do, and I praise them for that and praise you for them as well. Be with them as they make decisions for this county. Give them the wisdom that they need. You've told us in your word that if anybody lacks wisdom, ask you. And you have always had great wisdom, so give them that wisdom this morning as well, and throughout this year. We'll give you the praise and glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Hollis.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Commissioner Sicking, if you would read our pledges.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Hollis, you can stay if you want to.
I trust you.
Can I go with you?
No.
Oh.
Go out, go.
We do not have any public comments on agenda items today, so we'll go right to item number 6, which is the consent agenda. And the consent agenda includes non-controversial and routine items that the court may act on with one single vote. The judge or a commissioner may pull any item from the consent agenda in order that the court discuss and act upon it individually as part of the regular agenda.
I make the motion, we approve the consent agenda as it is.
Motion, Commissioner Snuggs, to accept the consent agenda as is. Do I hear a second? Second, Commissioner Sicking. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And there are none. The consent agenda passes 5-0. Are you here to represent TAPS?
Yes.
Okay, please come up to the podium, and if you would, identify yourself when you speak.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. I'm Shelley White. I'm the General Manager with TAPS. And TAPS is the lead agency for the Texoma Regionally Coordinated Transportation Planning Committee. And we are currently working on our 5-year plan. And Bennett here is with KFH Group, the consultant that we've hired for that plan, and he's going to do the presentation this morning. Thank you.
Good. And by the way, welcome to Commissioners Court, all of you.
Thank you very much, Judge, Commissioners. I appreciate it. I'll be brief. I know we're all busy and have lots of things to do today. So we're doing a 5-year plan. It's a 5-year public transit and human service transportation coordination plan. And really it's a mouthful, but what that means is taking a full inventory of transportation services in the Texoma region, looking at where unmet transportation needs are, specifically for people with disabilities, older adults, people over the age of 65, and our veterans. There's a pot of federal funding for transportation services specifically for those cohorts that can be pulled down, and in order to pull down new funding for new projects in that grant opportunity, everything, the new project has to be in the plan. So we want to make sure that we're developing a plan that's high level and broad where it needs to be, and then specific to solve the issues. What we've done is quite a bit of analysis at this point. We've looked at what all the transportation services are in like Cooke County, for example. We've looked at a demographic analysis, so we have maps that analyze where the people that I mentioned before, those cohorts are, as well as teenagers that might be getting independently mobile, don't have a car, autoless households, low-income households as well. Kind of see where those are. It won't be any surprise to the people here in this county. Those populations are centered around Gainesville and then going along the highway to the east. Those are where most of those are. And so we're doing that, and then we're also coupling that kind of data-driven analysis with more qualitative analysis. We've gone out into the community. Right after this, I'm going to the senior center down the road here, talking to the seniors. We've been to the Veterans Day Parade. We've been to the senior center over in Bonham. We've been riding buses, talking to transit riders, interviewing human service agencies, interviewing workforce agencies, things like that. So we have a good idea of what people are saying they need and then where people are. So that's essentially where we are in the plan right now. Shelley did bring some flyers that have a QR code that links to our community survey. This is available for anybody in the community to take. It helps us get an understanding of who's using transit, why or why not they might be using transit. That survey is going to close next week, so we encourage you to take that. I'm going to be taking them over to the senior center. And the next steps, what we're hearing from people, just to go over that, in a lot of the rural areas, there's lack of awareness of the transportation services that are available to them. So I think one of the things that's going to come out of this project is TAPS does have capacity to serve rural residents. They're not fully booked. So making sure that we're getting out and marketing those services, particularly the individuals that need them the most. In the more urbanized area, people are looking for more frequent service. We're also doubling this planning effort with one in Sherman and Denison to reinstitute the fixed route service there. It's time, really. It's a growing urbanized area, and the typology of service that they have right now is more of a rural type service, and they probably need to upgrade to a more productive urban type service. Medical trips and grocery trips, grocery store access is what's driving the ridership, particularly in the rural regions. It's a lot of seniors or people that don't have a car, can't use a car for some reason, trying to get to doctor's appointments, dialysis treatments, or to the grocery store. The frontline staff, people love the drivers and the dispatchers. We're hearing a lot of commendations for those people. The need to maintain existing services, when people see a consultant come in with a sport jacket and clipboard and get on the bus and start talking to people, they're like, "You're not taking my bus away, are you?" So making sure that we're maintaining the services, and then need for some expanded services in both rural and urban areas. So those are the things that we're hearing from people to go along with our data access. I think we've talked about just about everything. Just so you know what our next steps are, we've had a few focus groups we've presented to commissioners and city councils. We will be writing essentially the first half of the plan, and then which is all of that analysis and the needs assessment, and then we have a workshop with the TAPS board and their regional transportation committee, where we'll go over that and then start to workshop strategies to solve whatever unmet needs are in whatever needs are identified in the plan. Then we'll draft those strategies, we'll do a draft plan, we'll come back out for another round of public stakeholder engagement, maybe talk to you all, and certainly invite you to the final round of workshopping and finalize the plan, which will help dedicate transportation funds for those groups I mentioned earlier. So that's all I have. If you have any questions or any input for the plan, we're all ears, and that's why we're here. So thank you very much.
Got a couple questions. Maybe,
Sure.
you mentioned that you were going down to the Stanford House.
Yes.
Okay. Had you considered going to some of the outlying, like Valley View has a very active senior citizen group, and I guess Callisburg probably does
They
too.
do.
Yeah.
Callisburg.
And, you know, those are people that wouldn't normally get the information, you know, from the Gainesville group, for instance. They don't always interact and everything else.
Well, we'll make sure and go out there, and if nothing else, deliver some promotional materials on tap,
Right.
so that they know the number to call to schedule a trip if they need it.
Right.
Talk to some of the staff there as well. So, and you said Valley View.
Valley View, Callisburg. And you just have to, Munster
Google
does,
Senior
I'm
Center,
sure.
Google Senior Living Centers, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay.
And another question is, do you present to like the nursing homes or anything like that? A lot of those are people are mobile and just don't have a way to get around too. So-
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm sure you do if you're.
Yeah,
taking the
we've gone out to
doctor's
some nursing homes, and certainly some of we work with like the Area Agency on Aging,
Mm-hmm.
and so a lot of the Child Protective Family Services, so a lot of people that are caseworkers that are working with those individuals, we make sure when they come to them and they're like, we need a ride somewhere, they have all the information to help them schedule a ride with TAPS as they need it. So that's a big way we do that, but we'll make sure to go out and distribute the marketing materials to these that you mentioned. Look for others.
Pam, Tuesday and Thursday at Callisburg, right, would be the best time to catch them.
First Monday, but if you can just give me a brochure, I can hand it out, because
Sure.
we've got all our meetings right now already scheduled, but I could absolutely hand out a brochure to our, we have a Callisburg Community Club meeting that a lot of the
Okay.
people come to, so.
Yeah, and I might have
You can just email
Shelley
me.
send you some
Yeah,
stuff
just give
as
me the
well.
brochure and I can hand it out at our
Awesome.
next meeting.
But
Great.
Meals on Wheels, they're still serving Tuesdays and Thursdays,
They
right?
don't do that anymore.
They're not
in
at the
our club.
Civic Center. Okay.
So there's no Meals on Wheels at the,
There is, but they just don't, there used to be a group that would meet at our club,
okay.
but as far as I know, they don't anymore because
Okay.
they don't have anything.
Well, Valley
there.
View does have every Tuesday and Thursday, meals are delivered to the
Okay.
center on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay. So people come there to eat?
Yes,
Yeah.
there's usually, 20 or so people there.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
and then it gets out into the community, you
Sure.
know, for sure.
well, and those can be a great way to,
Yeah.
group trips, so we, come around, pick everybody up, go to the senior center, it's really productive, it's good for TAPS, and then, honestly, it's kind of fun for the people that go to the Congregate Meal Center, because the party kind of starts early and goes late on the bus, so it can be fun. So, any other questions? Thank you so much for your time, I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'll leave these here,
Yeah, we
so if y'all want to
we
take
can-
the survey, and you might want to take this one.
Yes, that's what I thought, that way they'll have that.
Thank you all for being
Thank you.
here, and you do a great service, thank you. Item number 8 is to deliberate and consider possible action regarding the approval of the final plat for JT Estates in Precinct 1.
That's off of County Road 155. It's 10 lots, all with road frontage, so there'll be no interior roads. I think they've met all our criteria. I'd make the motion, we approve the final for JT Estates.
Motion, Commissioner Hollowell, to approve the plat for JT Estates. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Snuggs, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. Motion passes 5-0. Item number 9, deliberate and consider possible action regarding the appointment of a salary study committee. And I believe that would be Judge Henry.
Good morning.
Morning, Jody.
So first I want to thank you all for the opportunity for being able to come before y'all as the judge of the Commissioners Court. Continue a discussion that we started back during the budget process. That discussion regarding what I think is our greatest asset to us in the county as elected officials, and that asset's our employees. Over the past several years, I've heard the court and Human Resources Department and other departments mention and even acknowledge the need for a salary study. There have been occasions where there's been a little mini or a partial salary study done, and that was usually only pertaining to an individual position as something was happening with that position. So what I'd like to talk to you now is about addressing that issue on a county-wide scale within a long-term, progressive, proactive plan rather than just continuing to just address it and being reactive each year, especially at budget time. So here we are in the middle of our budget, not during budget talks. So I think it's more appropriate that it come from this time versus having to be reactive because it involves budget. So I want to say first, you guys have all done an outstanding job of keeping our employees afloat with the cost of living. Y'all bit the bullet numerous times, done a difficult yet very much appreciated job in maintaining our great insurance and our great retirement benefits. And where we're not able to compete salary-wise, y'all have tried to make the benefits attractive in helping us. But I think now it's time for us to have a proactive conversation about our pay scale, about recruiting and retaining, again, what I consider our most valued assets. I think we can all agree that we're experiencing challenges in both recruiting and retaining our employees, especially our high-quality employees. I'm going through this right now in my own office. I think we all realize that our pay scale is probably the biggest reason for that. Most of the employees in Cooke County that I'm aware of, they all love working here. They love the work environment. They love serving the citizens of Cooke County. The challenges that our employees are having, though, is making ends meet. The challenge that we have as their employers is in recruiting and retaining them because of our inability to compete with the surrounding areas in their salaries in both government and private corporate sectors. We're just behind. So what I'd like to propose to you is that we, or that you, as the Commissioners Court, approve and appoint a salary study plan committee. And do that in an effort to proactively address the issue in a long-term approach. What that committee would do is they would do the legwork in acquiring detailed, comprehensive job descriptions for all employees. That's something that we're lacking right now. These job descriptions should, and I think that they will, address things like employees wearing multiple hats, doing multiple jobs. And all of us know that there are employees that are doing that. It should ultimately create different job titles or classifications as needed in some areas. I'll give you a couple of examples of where I think that would apply. I'll just use your precincts for an example. Y'all have an equipment operator in your precinct, or you have the job title of equipment operator in your precinct. A precinct hand, right? Well, you hire an employee and his job is to keep the yard clean, keep do the mowing, do maintenance things around the yard. Not that it's not an important job. You've got to have that employee. Run errands, do this, do that. But he's not the same as the equipment operator that you've got in your precincts that can run every single piece of equipment that you can go to for anything. And, you know, he's got his CDL, he's got all these other licenses and titles and jobs, but yet they're the same job description. So when you hire this new employee off the street as a new employee, he comes in at the same salary as that seasoned employee. Now, we've got our longevity, and there could be a few other things, but for the base rate, it's the same. It's the same with, in some clerks. So you could have an office that you have a clerk that their primary job is as a receptionist. And they answer the phone, they check the mail, they do the mail things, they do filing. And it's an important job. We can't do without that employee. You know, Pam's got that employee that she can't do without. But you also have clerks who handle hundreds or thousands of dollars a day. And they're your go-to person. They're not on the same level. They shouldn't be considered on the same level. But with our job structures, that's exactly where they are. I think that definitely dictates that there be different job classifications for the different responsibilities. So that would be one of the things that this committee would do. Next, after that, the committee would, with your help and approval, select a professional firm to classify those job descriptions, help us classify them, name them properly, make sure that we've got them right like they need to be, and then provide us with a valid salary scale range that factors in both government, corporate, private sector, job markets, because that's who we're competing against. We have to take all of that into consideration because that's who we're competing against. Then the committee would develop an implementation plan that would allow for that salary study to be implemented over a multiple year plan. And we would build mechanisms in it that would try to keep us from falling back behind again in the future. That would be the goal. So what I'm specifically asking for you now is a commitment to that concept. By agreeing to appoint and approve the committee, I think you'll be sending a message to our employees that you recognize the issue and that you're committed as the court to trying to work towards a long-term plan to address it. I think that message will be positively received among the employees. I also think it will be positively received among the department heads and our fellow elected officials. I've discussed the possibility of this concept plan with Elizabeth in HR, and I believe I can say she's on board with the idea. I'm not trying to speak for her, but I think she's on board with the idea. I volunteered to be an advocate for both the Commissioners Court as well as the employees and put in the legwork to help develop a plan that we can all work with. So, again, gentlemen, you know, it's time. So I ask y'all to consider committing to that concept. If you can do that, I ask that you approve the requested committee of Elizabeth and HR, myself, and a volunteer from one of you from the Commissioners Court to serve on the committee. And allow us to get started. Allow us to get started with the job descriptions, and then we'll work towards the other as we progress. I think it's important to say that I'm not trying to blow smoke up your skirts or be deceiving in any way. I don't think that we've got very many employees in the county that are presently overpaid. So implementing this plan is undoubtedly going to be a major financial issue in consideration for future budgets. And I know that issue will follow you as the commissioners. So it is a commitment. It will be a commitment that we're going to try to address and long-term fix this. And that's what this committee will try to do is make a way for that to be able to happen. So please, Judge, Commissioners, let's don't continue to kick the can down the road while the situation continues to get worse. I realize I'm repeating myself again, but it's time. It's time. Please commit to the concept, appoint the salary study planning committee, and let us get to work on a plan that we can all be proud to be a part of. I again want to thank you for the opportunity to get to come to you today and have this discussion that we had started months ago. During budget time, I started this discussion with you. And I'd be happy to try to answer any questions you might have regarding this.
You don't, do I?
I don't know what you're saying.
Do you want to say something?
No, I think he's got it covered.
You want to field some questions?
If you have questions, I can answer.
I might, yeah, if you don't mind. First question being, have we ever had a salary study here in Cooke County?
Y'all discussed this back in, I've got notes from Elizabeth where this was discussed in 2020. Is that correct?
I know that we have done surveys for individual positions, for offices. There was one, at one point I did a salary scale for the entire county with steps in it. So there's been a few things that have been presented and done.
Okay. And
In 2021, she received a quote from a firm to conduct a study. Is that correct? That was in 2021. So it's something, as I said, it's something
In 2021, what,
I was just getting a quote to see
Okay.
what it cost if we were to do a study.
what was that quote in?
20 to 30,000.
That's a number that's been thrown around. Who are we thinking about for the committee again?
big part.
Who are you thinking about for the committee?
Well, I think the two of us and one of y'all. If one of y'all would care to step up and volunteer to serve on that committee, I think that would be two things. One, I think it'd be very appropriate. Two, I think that would increase to the committee and show the court's commitment to the process, to the concept.
I'll volunteer for that if nobody else wants to.
I was gonna say, I'd be glad to.
Y'all motioning?
How about? Yeah, and then we'll determine who's gonna be the third person of the committee after we need a motion to go ahead and approve the salaries.
Why wouldn't we just go ahead too and do the players, the members that, as we approve it and.
Well, okay.
I mean, you guys are, you
We're not
guys
approving the
volunteer.
study right now, we're just gonna
Just
try to
the
get
committee, but-
the committee
Yeah,
to
at
get
this
the
point,
things
we're just
together.
asking for a committee with the agenda.
Yeah, we're not approving the study right
You
now.
know,
Why
what the
not?
committee do, the three people that are on it, we'll get together and kind of fix our itinerary, fix our roadmap. We've discussed, and I've got ideas and thoughts and maybe how we should progress with it, that we'll go over, discuss together, and agree on, and then we'll start working on it. But definitely, I can without fail say that our first thing is going to be getting the job descriptions.
Yeah, we can,
Every department is going to have to write, if they don't already have it, they're going to have to develop job descriptions. And, we're going to have to develop job descriptions and I'll pick on Pam because I'm here looking at her. She's got clerks that do certain things and different things, and clerks that wear multiple hats. And those job descriptions for one clerk and for another clerk are going to look a little different, should look a little different. and there may be a reason that one clerk should make a little different wage than another clerk. So I'm gonna say that should be two different job classifications. That's what we'll be looking for in the beginning, is those job classes. You guys in your precincts, using that example that I used a while ago, I think I'm probably pretty accurate in saying that, having spoken to y'all. You're gonna, I would say basically for sure, an employee that y'all hire with a CDL versus an employee you hire without a CDL probably should not be on the same pay scale. Kind of just in general, that makes sense, right?
We don't hire, I don't hire everybody in at the same rate.
You don't?
No.
Okay, but you got one job description for all of them.
Yes, you're absolutely right, but
And that's where I'm thinking. I think, I'm thinking fairness. And another thing that will end up long-term accomplishing is these guys that you do hire in maybe at a lower job description or a lower scale. It gives them an opportunity or a goal to work towards if they want to stay working, with you, the county. You know what, if I'll just go do this, if I'll learn this, if I'll better myself to where I'm more qualified, I've got the opportunity to work towards this next classification. If that next classification could, involve a salary increase or a step increase or something. And that's just kind of generalizing how that would work, but it makes sense to do.
What was the 20 to 30,000, what was that for?
So that is to get a company to come in and review our job descriptions and then build a salary scale countywide based on those job descriptions.
Okay, but before we do that, we have to go ahead and approve the salary survey, number one. We have to get a general idea who the people are. We need to let those people pick a leader. In this case, it might be Jody or whoever, and then they would work with the outside agency or whatever.
So I think, I think the first step is getting the committee so that we can develop job descriptions, and that's going to be a pretty big
Exactly.
ordeal to do that.
And then we
So
present
the
for a
committee would be
bid.
the first step, and then see
Right.
what we get. And we maybe even do some of that stuff with other counties ourselves too. Kind of see what
Well, I think
but I think the first step is the committee is what we're.
Well, I think the first step is to approve doing a salary survey.
Nope,
Well, it's not on the agenda item.
Why not?
because we need to get our ducks in a row before we go to get a bid from a company to do it. We'll have more information.
We're not
for
talking
you.
about that yet. What we're talking
Judge?
about is determining that we need a salary survey conducted, and that we, as a county, will commit to that, is what I'm talking about.
Judge, can I take a shot at the motion?
Go ahead.
I'd make a motion that we approve creating the committee consisting of HR, Judge Henry, and Jason Snopes. The end. For them to do the study.
There we are, and then they can take off and get going with this. We're not anywhere near a firm yet or anything like that, but at least we have approval to go ahead and get started and start making plans for what you're gonna do and surveys and all that sort of thing.
We don't want to do all that work and then, put it in a dead file.
That's right.
That's not our goal.
And we have a motion.
I'll second.
Commissioner Hollowell, second. Commissioner Arndt. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? There are none.
If we didn't tie any finance to that motion, that's just
No,
create the committee.
This is
We
just,
know that that's going to come at a later date.
this is just that we have committed to do a salary survey, basically. And we have identified those that are involved in the salary survey.
Committing to the concept.
Yeah, and you don't have to come back with every little, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do that, and
We'll come
everything
back
else.
if we need to.
Exactly.
I feel like we won't come back until we need the firm.
Exactly. All right.
Okay?
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. Think it's long overdue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 10 would be to deliberate and consider possible action regarding the burn ban. And we have some information right here to pass out first of all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir?
Thank you.
So I know this is my first time coming up here and doing this for a burn ban, but just a couple of words. So the Texas Department of Emergency Management is hosting a briefing on the fire weather conditions right now across the state. They're actually doing that right now as we hold this day. So Carla, my state counterpart, is listening in on it right now. She's going to relay whatever information she's out. The situation is it's looking kind of bleak for the next 2 months. We're in a La Nina condition, so everything's going to be warm and dry across the south. Precipitation levels are much lower than what they would normally be in January and February, so we're entering into a little bit of a danger zone. The county itself sits in an area where it's not as bad as it is out in the Panhandle and out in West Texas right now. However, those conditions are going to continue to creep eastward, and they are going to directly affect us. So if you're familiar at all with the Keach-Byron Drought Index, the KBDI, we're not looking very bad on that right now, but the KBDI is a little deceptive because all it measures is ground moisture. So with water tables and things like that, it looks great, but it's all the vegetation on top of it right now. It's all dead. It's not absorbing any water. We had a lot of growth last year, so it's very heavily loaded. And just to give you all some perspective, last Friday there was a fire up in Caps Corner, right just on the other side of the county line in Monte, that started a brush pile that went out of control, burned 30 acres. Munster Volunteer Fire Department was actually the one that responded to it. They were closest to it. And I talked to the chief out there, and he was under the opinion that the conditions are just too rough for it right now. I talked to my counterparts last week out in Monte County, and they have 3 active fires going right now. There's also the fire that went on last week over in Clay County, burned over 800 acres. That was just started from welding operations out there. So this is kind of the general assessment of where we're at. I would personally recommend putting the burn ban back on right now, at least until spring precipitation picks back up and things start turning green again. Obviously, if there's anyone here with expertise that, can chime in on something that maybe I don't have sight on, but as of right now, the state level is urging all counties to practice extreme caution when it comes to burn bans.
I make the motion, we enter into a burn ban again. Do I hear a second?
I'm gonna second it, just because we've seen some crazy stuff, even having snow on the ground and having fire.
Exactly.
Can I offer just a little bit of conversation there, Judge?
Yes, we do have a second, by the way, Commissioner Arndt, go ahead.
Yeah, I understand. I wanted to wait till we got a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
discussion. And and I appreciate Rand bringing up the KDVI, which is, usually we react at about between 600 and 800 on KDVI, and it's about 200 right now. And like you said, it's not exactly, it's not necessarily the key element. Looking around, it looks like everybody to the south and to the east have pulled their bands. Like you said, it's coming from the panhandle this way. So I'm a little concerned with the growth that we're having, that we're clearing large parcels of land. And with that, you know, they've got to disposition those brush piles, and what's that having on our economic, what kind of impact's that having on our local economy? The other concern, we placed this ban based on existing fuel, and I'm not sure when we anticipate that fuel's not going to be in place. Looks like if we set it now, we could be in a burn ban for months. We do have moisture. We are seeing some winter grass. We're seeing some green. So it makes it a tough decision all the way around. So anyway.
I polled my fire departments in my precinct, and they were all on controlled burns. I got away from them this weekend, and they all encouraged me to enter a ban, even though I can see both sides of it. I'm afraid we're going to get stuck in it for a long time, but when we pulled it at our last court, we said that we're probably going to go right back into it. They could burn while it was wet, while everybody's off of work for the snow, but you know, it's just dangerous.
How they never got an opportunity to
A
burn
few
because
people
they didn't
did.
get out there.
I've got brush piles I need to burn too, but I'm not going to burn them right now.
Occurs to me, we had a situation here not long back where there were about 8 brush piles that needed burning, and that resulted in about 8 different citations too, because they were left unattended and one thing and another.
Yeah, that was that was out there more on the east side of the county line with
Right.
a contractor that was out there. Yeah, he did. And that was actually the day, that was the Friday right before the winter storm hit. And even with the precipitation falling, it was still lighting the surrounding vegetation on fire, even as, you know, freezing rain was falling out of the sky. So
Now, that's the case of a new subdivision, somebody trying to push it, and moisture had already started to fall. But what was sad, we had that opportunity to burn, but we couldn't have court to take it off.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a bum deal all the way around.
They're always tough on us to restrict anything, but it's not a good time.
Well, okay, just the whole thing behind the burn ban is to protect our citizens' property, to protect our county, okay? It's a protection thing. And if we go a little overboard in protecting our citizens, I don't mind that at all. So we have a motion and a second. Are we in favor? I'll call for a vote, and I'll vote aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Okay, so motion passes 4-1.
thanks, Johnson.
Just point out, Montague's been in the burn ban, they've had more fires than anybody, but, I mean, if you don't use caution, it don't really matter what we put out there.
Right.
That's right, but at least we told them not, or they told them not to do it before they did, so.
We had a fire across the street from the house yesterday, probably burned a neighbor. Neighbors jumped in.
Yeah.
Actually got it handled before the fire departments got there, which was a good thing. And no reflection, the fire departments made a fast response, but the neighbors were just quicker.
Yeah. There we go. All right then. That was item number 10. Item number 11. is to adjourn. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion, Commissioner Snug. Second, Commissioner Arndt. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. We are adjourned at 10:46.